Welcome back upon for the next part of Limbus Company. I think at this point it's been like 2-3 weeks since the last part, since we defeated the Bounded King with Heathcliff and the others, right? The waiting sometimes, it's so long. But hey, let's see it positive. Now that the murderous warp train is around, we're getting one step closer to Dawn's chapter. I think in between this and Dawn's chapter there's only like one Walpurgis night left for us to grab. I don't think there were any other events. We already have the new railway. I don't think there was a new mirror dungeon announced. Mirror dungeons are always linked with the Canto interval itself. I think I heard some news about the new Heathcliff ID, but it doesn't really it's not really an event, it's more like the occasional banner that they release over the weeks, right? When we have to wait. So technically speaking, I think after this event, which ends in 26 days, we're getting really close to Dawn's chapter. It's coming soon! It's almost there, Dawn! We're almost there! Your trauma is about to start! It's only a matter of time! Which is probably not really reassuring. But you know how it is, right? Everyone has to go for it. Everyone. Now, technically speaking, there's one thing that I should have probably done before I start the part. And that is working my way through the mirror dungeon in order to grab a certain ID over here. Because let's be serious, every time when you play in any event map, you kinda wanna grab as many event IDs first, because they give a certain bonus on top of the usual rewards. But this time around, I didn't really want to bother grinding a couple hours in the mirror dungeon before I actually get to play the event itself, because I'm pretty sure YouTube is about to spoiler me quite badly about whatever happens in the murder case, so here we are! Right? Here we are. I'm going to get the idea at a later point of time. Technically speaking, we can already get a couple of other IDs that can boost us from the start. A new Faust ID that looks really interesting. Kind of like a doctor with multiple arms. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's up with those multiple arm thingies, but hey, they have a whole body extension in form of robo body. I guess it's reasonable for them to get additional arms as an upgrade. Yeah, it's reasonable for them to get additional arms. That's actually, from all the modifications that they could have possibly done, that's not really that far out of the window. And would you look at this? Oh, this is great. I'm usually not a big fan of the Dimensional Shredder guy. He looks really creepy. But every time any of them get an ego of him, they all look so freaking cool, as long as they don't distort. As long as this doesn't happen and they get covered in mouths and eyes, everything else about them is really cool. Now, we're probably not going to get the ego because I'm really unlucky with that, but it's fine. Right? It's gonna be fine. Actually speaking, it's only a 3-star and an ego. The chances of us getting any of them without the dispensers relatively low. But you know the rules, right? 3 pulls, and then whatever we get is appreciated, and whatever we don't get, well, it kind of happens. But before we do that, 1 second please, I need to do something really special, really quickly. Where's my KK Rodion? There she is. Know the drill, KK Rodion? Please give me a little bit of luck. I need your luck. You know the drill. 3 stars are always a bit tricky to get. And you are literally the lucky girl of them all, right? The luckiest girl of them all. Okay. Now, let's see. 3 pulls. Let's start with 1 first. Doesn't really look so promising, but that can always change. Oh god. Yeah, that's a really bad one. Aye, but then again, KK Rodion likes to gamble, right? KK Rodion likes to gamble. Sometimes she just wants the thrill of failure. The thrill of failure, only to pull it around and give us a freaking Faust on the second pull! What?! Oh, you got me on the first one. I give you that. Rodion, you got me on the first pull. But you never fail me. You never fail me. Now, technically speaking, I should probably do one more, because I always do 3. The chances of us getting the Otis one are relatively low though, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, it was really, really low. I'm usually not really that lucky with the ego pulls, except in Walpurgis Night. I got really lucky with the Walpurgis Night pulls, but usually speaking, I'm never really that lucky with them. So where is the one from Otis? 400 charts. How many do I have? I think I recently pulled for her. Yeah, I wasn't really lucky with the last Otis ID either. It's gonna be expensive. I should have just enough. So, exactly 400. Okay. Let's get our Otis one. Do not avert your eyes for a moment, because the second you blink, Otis will literally cut you in half. Oh, she's just the best. She's really the best. Oh, she's so great. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'm probably really biased. She's one of my favorites. Oh, I can't wait once we reach Rosetta. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be really great. She's probably going to get an AirCorp ID at that point as well. Now, I know it's not confirmed that she comes from AirCorp, but in my heart, I believe that she is. Now, without any further ado, let us enter the warp train! And actually speaking, I haven't even thought about our team yet, but I'm sure we can work something out, right? We can certainly work something out. First and foremost, let's start the story. The first class. Alright, how did this happen? First, we boarded the warp train to get to our next destination, P-Corp. Got into our fancy first-class flash-freezing hibernation capsule, and we were supposed to arrive at P-Corp after a quick blink of an eye, but... Dante, please respond. The first thing I saw when my vision returned was the perplexed look on Faust, who had entered hibernation at the same time as I did. Then I realized that we woke up mid-transition of the warp train, which could only mean that we are now stranded in some lost, unknown dimension. Dante, I understand your considerable degree of disorientation, but... What? What the hell happened? Why now? Why here? The first things first. Let's rewind and return to the very start of this highly unfavorable situation we find ourselves in, because we already know what happens in the warp train, and if we wake up in the warp train, it's literally the worst thing possible! A few days ago. Our next destination is to a warp train, Dante. What? Yep, that is where it all started. There I was, still perplexed by the incident at T-Corp, with an awful idea of clearing the air by asking Virgilus for our next destination, not knowing the storm that my innocent question would bring, because we're literally about to board the one train nobody should ever take. Verily? I must have misheard thee, right? I'm certain you heard me right, Don. We are now en route to T-Corp. Warp Train Station. The Warp Train Station must have been conundrum that must have been resolved, indeed. A quest that must be swiftly addressed at the station, yes? Did the distortion pop up at one of the Warp Train's platform or something? I say that they are now significantly less declined to take on some side jobs. But no, we are boarding the warp train to get to W.Corp. End of story. There's nothing between the lines, so don't try reading into it. Oh no. It was only natural that the sinners immediately fell into a state of collective dumbfounded shock. None of the sinners have any history of working at W.Corp, but they all know! They all know! Are we actually taking that train? Though, what vague information we have gathered from the identities, we all had some fragmented memories about the terrible secrets of the warp train's operation, and I initially considered hiding this information from the rest of the sinners, but since sharing things with everyone and letting them get their 2 cents in usually end up getting pretty helpful more often than not, I've been sharing more of these fates as of late. Though I have very dim, if present at all, recollection from the time during which I wear the identities. It can be determined from the conversational records between the manager and the identities that the mechanism behind the warped train's operation can be deemed as somewhat bizarre and inefficient. Oh yeah, that's a 10-second trip that actually takes a long time, right? And when the train reaches the destination, it's just wipe the passengers' memories. I also heard that the passenger gets so tired and worried that they're starting literally ripping and tearing into each other. Sounds like I might finally have a chance to see a masterpiece with my own eyes. Well, of course Ryoshu likes it, but the others! Even when the sinners were the identities through my identity cards, the identities' memories or beliefs don't bleed into them once it is over and done with. I remember when Faust explained that, due to the risk associated with embracing such influence, there was a filtering process to initially block them from reaching the sinners. That is why the sinners could use the identities of some of the worst enemies without getting infected by their philosophies and whatnot, like the N-Corp guys. But it also meant that they couldn't retain any new information that each identity had to offer. That is why I kept a record of some things that could whether that sound practically important, and sometimes share it with the rest of the sinners. My voice doesn't really carry well past the window, so most of our communications are one-sided, but I had an abundance of W.Corp identities, so it wasn't difficult to piece together the truth behind the train. But, maybe ignorance really is a bliss. Your alarmed response and possible incomplacence has already been accounted for. Faust! Then does thou have known this all along? Wherefore hast thou not disdained to tell me of this? Faust has indeed known this all along, as no knowledge is out of Faust's reach. As expected, a solution to your dilemma has already been prepared. I seriously doubt the solution involves not getting onto the train. So what is it? The bus. Oh, right! What about the bus? There's no way this thing is going to fit inside of the train car, and we can't really leave Matthew behind! Sharon returns too. No one to feed Matthew when Sharon's gone. Miss Faust. The rearmost tail car of warp trains are all freight cars. That is where Mephistopheles will be safely fastened and transported. And the LCB will have the benefit of boarding as first-class passengers. Oh my god! The bus begins to swell with noise again, though in a slightly different air to the alarmed response from earlier, which means we can skip the horrors of the train. First-class passenger? What? The seats for those pompous toffs? Even on normal trains, we've got those sorts who proudest accomplishment in life is planting their asses in a first-class seat, while others are cramming themselves together into freightened cars because they haven't have the cash for even an economic tickets. Hey, don't look at me! I've never been in one of these first-class seats before either, okay? Isn't the ticket for a single first-class seat like as expensive as 3-4 months' salaries of a first-year wing employee? Can our budget really handle paying for all of our fares? We are literally 12 sinners, then Dante, then Virgilus, then Sharon. the company's budget is not a subject that warrants your concerns. Well, I heard first-class passenger get some cool bonus stuff like personalized private capsules or something like that, don't they? That is the promotion language. Yes, they are flash freeze hibernation capsules to be precise. They have been designed to easily withstand the true amount of time it takes for the warp train to travel from point A to point B. The trip will be over in the blink of an eye for the passenger. Well, at least for the guys in those capsules. Company's regards for our well-being is unfamiliar yet welcoming. To be provided such extravagance merely for our comfort, such occasion is quite seldom. Right? I honestly thought they were going to slip just the guide and Sharon into the first class seat and ship the rest of us into the economic classes like usual. This seems like an unnecessary luxury. They should have just saved their budget and give only the executive manager and their loyal advisor access to those seats. I know exactly what you're pointing out there, Otis, but that's a bit cruel to the others. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? We're taking the train to get to our next mission, right? We have to think about the unique nature of the warp train and prepare ourselves accordingly. Right. I know it's the first class and all, but warp trains are just plain creepy. I knew you would also be worried, about For example, the economic passengers are going to have a hard time getting into the first class car, if they can even attempt to open it. I mean, I'm pretty sure the door separating the cars is pretty much ironcladed, unless of course you're a certain J. You might not even be able to reach them ever, right? Ishmael, who's been holding that first-class promotion pamphlet in her hand for a while, was chattering on with fire in her eyes. We won't even have to lift a finger. We just have to board the train, get into our capsule, shut our eyes, and snooze through the entire ride until all that mess in the other cars just blow over. I heard they used to give out commemorational merch back when their financials weren't in the gutters and... so that was your point. Look how creepy she looks. Ishmael! Well, a true adventure is not without hardship, yet even the most exalted of heroes cannot venture without respite, and in a very rare occasion the hero may even deign to select the first class seat to rest in place of a quaint inn, indeed. Seems like everyone was at least somewhat interested in the fabled first-class seat of the warp trains, which is certainly 1,000 times better than anything else in this train. I could sense that there was a growing consensus amongst the sinner that even a warp train trip might be acceptable if it meant that they could ride in the first-class seat. I will board the train if I must. Wait, is first-class seating mandatory? I kinda prefer the scenic route. Don't want to miss out on all the fun. Virtuous pretended to not hear Ryosha's question. Very well, then I assume that we are all in agreement. Let us go. I have a matter of great importance to discuss with thee. What is it now? Out with it, lass! Beating around the bush isn't like you. Don carefully began, almost whispering in a low voice. That is the first class seat. I have heard that we must board with our feet free from our boots. Does that claim hold water? Oh, come on now. What kind of nonsense gossip is this coming from this time, This is no gossip. Forsooth, I have overheard from those who have walked past there today, and when one of them inquired, you know that you gotta go barefoot into the first class, right? The other responded with, yeah, of course, man. What, am I stupid? Does the traveler speak truth, Ishmael? Well, don't ask me. I've never been on one of these trains before. I don't remember seeing anything like the one in the pamphlet, so give me a second. I mustn't be separated from Rocinante, not even for a twinkle. I shan't toss Rocinante to the side next to such vulgarity, like the ugly shoes of the Heathcliff. What? Oi, you little... I implore Lady, or illustrious red gaze, pretty, grant me thy permission and allow me to board with Ricocante, or how he is called. Are you serious? Merch is so dull. What do you... This is literally one boot. That is one boot done. I expected Virgis to answer with his usual exaggerated rebuttal, but this time he responded in a somewhat serious, if tainted by that familiar annoyance tone. Fine, keep your shoes on. This is really important for Don. But then again, it's just one boot. Or is it just one boot? I noticed that she literally just wears one boot that looks different. And what's that about Heathcliff's boots? That's so bad, Don! You can't just bad talk somebody else's shoes. This isn't how you were supposed to talk about friends of others. If your shoes are that important, who knows? Maybe Heathcliff has a bond with them as well. Like he has with his bat. And the Northern Fixers. Okay, what's that about? Are those other passengers that are also taking the train perchance? Oh, here it is. Oh god. This place is huge. It was my first impression of the Warp train station. Oh, so this is it! Dawn shouted vibrantly, immediately recovering from her previous apprehension of the sheer possibility that she might be separated from Riconante. So, each nest has one of these massive structures on them, I've got nothing. Oi, know anything about what they're asking? Heathcliff asked, gesturing towards Mersault with his shin. No. Every warp train station has been built with a general design philosophy that draws from their respective nest architectology, idiosyncrasy. Whoa, okay. It can also be said that many critics in relevant fields praise the warp train stations as one of the many cultural cornerstones of the city. I see. I have no idea when it happened, but Heathcliff started treating Mersault like a walking encyclopedia from time to time. Oh, and Mersault! Young Mersault! Lo, is that passenger over yonder one of the West? Incorrect. Leather-based clothes and metal armor are predominated fashion trends often visible in the outfits of the Western population, while that individual's clothes base style is something ubiquitous observed through the population of North and South. They are largely considered to be the Eastern fashion trend, rarely seen amongst the Western. Oh, party! Slow thyself, for I must make a record of thy lecture! What wisdom thou have to impart regarding the fashion of the northern region! I have once espied in a magazine that they are garbed in loose-fitting outfits, understandably so, given the colder climates of the region. An opportunity for the first set observation stands before you. Oh! But that helmet looks really cool. Okay! After a 3 seconds of screaming duet, one of utter fascination, the other of unmitigated frustration. What the shit? You nearly blew out my eardrums! But you're the one to talk! Dude, I literally got an audible frequency range expansion implant in my eardrums! I hear so much better than any of you! Holy shit, man! Now get the hell out of my way! You're blocking the walkway like a ragtag band of hicks who never seen a warp train before! Damn it! I take the train all the way here for an expedition only to lose my target, and now these assholes are trying to blow out my eardrums! Great! That's great! I love this! What is up with this character? Guys, is it that obvious that we've never been on a warp train before? And the ticket fee came straight out of my damn pocket! Whoa, okay, watch out, big fella. Someone might get seriously hurt if you keep swinging those 4 arms around, each holding a weapon to boot, right? Pretty! Wilt thou stand still for a moment to satisfy a few inquiries of mine regarding thy outfit? Oh yes! Stand in absolute stillness for 5 minutes and I probably draw you! Are you serious? The fixer, with particularly impressive set of prosthetic arms, spent a few minutes venting several of his numerous grievances at us before storming off into a different platform. Well, that left a bad impression. Oh, indeed, this grand city of sundry odd personalities. I'm pretty sure he was thinking the same thing. I guess the city really is full of people with full body prosthetics, huh? That is when Virgil slowly walked up to our group. Well then, we'll rendezvous at the destination. Huh? Will the illustrious red gaze not ride amongst us? W.Corp policy demands that those with the title of a color must board a train specially prepared for them instead, in case of an emergency when they actually go crazy, probably. Oh, are you like riding the first class plus or something? Well, that's a color for you, I guess. Special treatment from the wings, no matter where he goes. Sharon wants to go back to Methy. Methy will be lonely. I already told you why you can't, Sharon. On the 3 separate occasions on which I brought you those multi-flavored candies, humans are not allowed aboard a freighted car. Then, Miss Faust? Yes. Virtuous, after exchanging a knowing look and a nod with Faust, escorted the particularly peeved Sharon away. Dante, let us proceed this way. We followed Faust's guidance to the entrance to our train's car. Damn! They actually have capsules. You can even look inside of them. Oh, is that a gas mask so that they could breathe underwater or under freezing? Interesting. But damn! Oh hey, our colors are starting to come back. Oh! Hey, these must be the fabled commentary food and drinks of the first class seat. Heck yeah, of course! Quality stuff like these got to be included with that insane pricing. But when do you have the time to eat? This is literally a really quick trip. Oh well, the general response to this room was a surprise at a row upon row of expensive looking, sizable capsules. Flash freezing hibernation, huh? I guess it literally freezes our body in a flash. Faust, are these flash freezing hibernation devices safe? Please elaborate on your exact definition of safe. You know, these things are supposed to freeze us solid, right? Can we really come back from something like that? I mean, if everything stops, that literally kind of kills us, right? A flash freeze hibernation device will put you into a temporary state of death caused by a rapid cellular cryopreservation process. However, the rapidity of the process prevents damage to your cell walls during the phase change. Therefore, in most normal cases, this will not cause any issue. Faust is aware that this model has fully resolved the cell wall breaching issue caused by the cryogenetic density changes or by ice crystals growing of hydrogen molecules. Right. If such small ice crystals are formed, they're literally ripping the cell walls apart. Okay, I kind of missed half of what you just said, but your point is that it is safe, right? Yes, as far as Faust is aware, even if an issue were to arise during our journey, because everyone will be reverted to their state at the beginning of the train trip upon arrival, there won't be any lasting complications from the said problem. So even if they didn't fix the problem from the start, they just have an out either way. Oi, you've got some real talent in dragging out something so simple as, yeah, it's safe. Just so many words. Seriously. Indeed, as Faust's talents are not limited to a singular field. I don't know if that was a compliment, but sure. Okay, but that still leaves a lot to be worried about. Wait, there was something odd about the way she phrased that. As far as Faust is aware, are you saying that it could be wrong? As a general rule, Faust does not err, maybe? However, Faust is also not a divine being that knows everything. There are certain informations in the world that Faust is yet to have access to. Therefore, while Faust may speak the facts, what is said may not always align with the truth. Okay. They don't call it first class for nothing, right? Peacock's way up there in the northernmost corners of the city, but this thing will take us there in the blink of an eye, huh? That's one hell of a time saver. Yeah! Prepare yourself, Reconante. This begins the long journey alone. I've been meaning to ask, Don. Do you ever, wash those boots? Where did that come from, Rhodia? No, I mean, like, thinking back to when we were inside that whale. Oh, shoot. When that whale blew out, all of that kind of gross slime bit on us. They were on our clothes, our shoes, our everything. Yeah. And do you remember how much work it took us to clean our bloodied, fish-smelling, chunked clothing? Well, this really isn't something I want to revisit, but yeah. Right? And do you remember how Dawn never took her shoes off once during that whole ordeal? Okay, I guess that looks a bit filthy. I ask thee, dear compatriots, hast thou ever witnessed an errant knight who leaves the side of their beloved steeds? That doesn't really answer the question, Don. Did you clean your boots afterwards? Can't say I've ever witnessed a knight before, though. Then thou shalt know, starting now. Behold it, hearken to it, and remember it well. They never quite down, do they? Whoa, have you been on one of these orders? I have been treated to a premium VIP seats of similar grandeurs back then, when, But this is nothing to fuss over. Otis, who was sitting there, shaking her legs, suddenly asked Faust the question. Hey, you're confident that no accident ever occurred to one of these first-class cars, yes? Well, actually about that, Library of Ruina, see? At the very least one thing happened. In order to prevent cases of unnecessary anxiety and misgiving amongst the sinners, the history of accident that has occurred aboard the warp train will not be shared. Wait, what? What the? I guess we should need to get ready. I think we're leaving soon.
This is for the warp train PV 612, bound for P-Corp. Boarding period is ending soon.
The sinners, who were either leisurely enjoying their complimentary snacks or taking a look around the first-class car, suddenly became a lot busier. Then let us hurry and enter our capsules before it is too late. Wait, what do you mean with too late? Oh no, why isn't this... The other sinners made it into their capsules, no problem, but I felt like I was the only one who fumbles. Is it anxiety, Dante? I think so.
Initiating warp in 10 minutes.
Allow me to assist you. Stand as though you're leaning back and... What the hell is that type of pose? Everyone else is standing normally. Okay. Faust expertly guided me into the capsule as though she's done something like this before, when pressing a button inside the capsule that closes the hatch. Do not worry too much. We will meet again in but a moment, Dante. I thought I heard a brief sigh, but the hatch shut tightly before I could ask her anything.
Initiating warp. Please confirm that your seatbelts are firmly fastened.
The last thing I saw before my capsule began to fill with gas was Faust climbing into her own capsule opposite of mine. I had no idea then what she really meant by "we will meet again in but a moment." Dante, you must wake up, Dante. But one thing I knew for sure was an inconceivable situation has occurred. That something had seriously gone wrong. Of course something had to go wrong. There's no way this would have resolved peacefully. Do we already have a fight? No. But missing passengers. People went missing. At the very least they haven't been killed yet, which is a pro. I'm pretty sure nobody can actually die inside of the warp train, but still. Okay. Let's see what happens. I can't get over this pose. What is this? You could at the very least make a T-pose on. Are we here already? Wow, I guess it wasn't an excavation at all. It already happened in the blink of an eye. As always, Faust was giving me her usual look, which was a complete lack of any emotive expression. Which I suppose is why I didn't immediately register that something had gone awry. No, we are not yet at our destination. Huh? When I finally came to, and after I had some time to digest that odd reply, I looked up at her face once again, and realized that her expression was more antsy than usual by a microscopical minuclear degree. So, is this train still running? Yes. Then, where are we? I believe we are currently stranded in an unidentified dimension. Coordinates unknown. I took a reflexive deep breath from the sheer horror of the numerous implications stuffed into that dryly delivered sentence. When that passed, the very first thing that struck my mind was that we were about to suffer the very thing that we were so worried about. I see. But I soon found myself calming down. Yeah, this had to be a part of Faust's plan. She probably saw this coming from a mile away. That is why she said that to us, right? I'm sure she's about to proudly tell me every little detail of her plan that will help us out of this situation, right? But this is all just a part of the plan, right, Faust? Eh? That was an unusual long silence from Faust. You are half correct, yet half incorrect. With that, Faust left me to flounder in the chaotic stream of vague, terrifying information, and she began stopping by each capsule to awaken the sinner. Oh, are we here already? Man, it really happened in the blink of an... No. Oh, what's this? Are we here already? For real? It really happened in the blink of an... No. Whoa, we're here already? I guess it really was worrying over nothing. No. Guys. Oh, no. Yet I have not uttered a single word, but I can already tell what you're about to say. There was a brief cheer, a little hooray about regaining our colors, followed by a flat-tone explanation of our current predicament, which was then followed by a long, loaded silence, which was a sequence of events I had the pleasure of watching play out on about 10 consecutive occasions. Dante, I understand your confusion. However, perhaps an elaboration of our present circumstances is necessary. And that brings us to the present. Let me get this right. This train is still running, and we're drifting through some unknown dimension. About that strikes me quite dramatically. Most importantly, are you saying that you already knew this would happen, Faust? Yes. Why didn't you warn us? What the hell is wrong with you? Huh? We could have saved the tickets if this was certain to happen either way. The sinners each began to voice their anger. Of course, this wasn't the first time Faust and Virgilus intentionally and knowingly omitted certain details about the events in our path. What? Are you insane? It's not like we can just retreat or jump out the door when stuff hits the fan around here. Opening the door will result in nearly immediate destruction of the physical body because we're literally in a different dimension. But hey, Faust, at least you know what to do like you always do, right? You've got a plan, right? This is literally the first time that I see her so sad. Do you see that sudden shift in her eyes? Oh god. Right? Faust, who had never seen at a loss for words, was having oddly long instances of silence. What is up with her? Les looks totally out of it today. She gives me a sideways glance. There must be something she can discuss in front of the sinners. Guys, let's pause for a bit, okay? She said that something inconceivable happened. The other sinner's anger was completely understandable. It also makes sense that this continued lack of communication is harming our trust in Faust. Alright, we are just going to go over the situation from the start, okay? But just letting things play out might really turn everyone against Faust. And for good. Well, I doubt Faust had any ill intention in waking us up in the middle of the trip. First things first, I gotta get the sinners to calm down. Then I ask Faust to tell us what happened. If there's a problem, we'll figure it out and deal with it as we move along, before we return to our capsule and then just continue our ride, right? It's all gonna be fine. So tell us what is going on, Faust. All of it. And in a way that we can all understand it, please. Let's hear her out first. Is that okay with you guys? If you say so, I go along with it. Fine. I suppose losing a rig rarely ever did anything. Thank you. Then, after some time, the gist of Faust's explanation was as follows. Because of this issue, as always, involved a certain contract and unilateral decision from the higher-ups of Limbus Company. W.Corp caught wind of Limbus Company's recent distortion contract management promotion and decided to contact us to deal with a mysterious, repeated series of incidents suspected to have been caused by a distortion, after multiple failed attempts to resolve it on their own, of course. The distortion himself likely did not pose a problem for W.Corp. Based on the available information, it can be determined that they would have all been neutralized as soon as the train arrived, and any transformed passenger would have been reverted to their human forms. But the real issue was that the passengers were disappearing, and not just transforming. Passengers spirited away? Alas, such is an impossibility aboard these trains, right? Is it not? That is the question for which we must discover the precise cause and effect of. Did W.Corp share anything to get us started? That appears to be the most prominent cause of this misunderstanding. She explained that W.Corp refused to share anything about the train because they were concerned about maintaining the secrets of the singularity, but if they knew that we know either way, well then again they would probably come after us, never mind. Oh come on, you need to give us at least some clues. How are we supposed to solve this? Maybe that's exactly why they sought out an upstarting business like Limbus Company to deal with this. Now that I think about it. We wouldn't even know where to start if we didn't have access to the information that the identity cards had to offer. Faust produced what appears to be keycards with a W.Corp logo on it before continuing with her explanation. However, we were given these master keycards that can open and close hibernation capsules at will. We may return to our respective capsules as soon as the contract is fulfilled and safely complete the rest of our journey, as we had planned from the very beginning. These bloody wings! Every single one of them are just absolutely balmy! No wonder that we could have afforded the capsules! That was probably part of the deal! I think it's a bit unkind of them to ask us to finish the puzzle without all of the important pieces. At least at T-Corp, the chief executive director tagged along as our assistants even though he was undercover. Not to mention, kinda explained so many new things to us on the way. Well, it kinda sounds like Miss House was struck between a rock and a hard place herself. Some sinners grew more receptive after her explanation, albeit with a sigh. I would have appreciated if you at the very least gave us a hint about it, a slight warning, to calm our nerves. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not like there's someone out there monitoring your every move and every word, right? Well, about that, there's actually a video recording. They actually record anything that happens inside of the train, so... But not everyone was willing to let this go without saying their pieces. Next time, I will take your input into account. And that's everything I can do for her. It's an undeniable truth that Faust has disappointed the sinner with what she has done. But she is Faust after all. I'm sure she has a backup plan to get us out of this situation, right? So what's next to our agenda? Yeah, what's done is done, right? Besides, it's not like we gotta run away for thousands of years inside of this magic box, right? That is something I must first discuss with Dante. What? Discuss? But discussing things with other people is very unlikely for Faust. What are we discussing, Faust? I recommend that you lower your voice from this point onward, Dante. Why are we whispering? Her secretive attitude only served to exaggerate my already battered sense of safety. My connection to Keine Gesellschaft, Faust, has been severed. I'm sorry, what? I cannot access the Faust knowledge at the moment. My whole family, my whole Faust group, it's gone. Gesellschaft means a collective group of people. Just so you know, it's a German word. Love that you just randomly throw German words at me. Love it, Faust. I guess I was absolutely right to be anxious. You don't know yet how important this Gesellschaft business is for Faust, Dante. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's not that bad, right? Maybe it's not that bad. Sure, they share their knowledge all together like probably a hive mind, but surely she had some knowledge on her own, right? Oh, wait a second. How much time do I have? No, I think we're running out. I guess we have to save the inaccessible for next time. I'm not entirely sure how long that chapter is going to be. But at the very least, I can get false identity ready. After all, we totally have to bring her. And I probably need to uptie her right away. Which involves another story! That's something I can certainly fit into this part, right? Certainly. I can certainly fit this in. What's that? 40J free charge. 40J activation. I need to get used to the weird names. Not only Ryosha has the weird attack names, those robo arms have as well. And it kind of seems like Faust is destroying her laptop right now. But that should be fine. Now, several noises are present at this child's desk. Sounds of fingering, tapping on the keyboard, and a pen's tip scratching its paper amongst them. A fixer's armed with prosthetics nervously approached the child and presented a set of documents before her. The child took them with one hand, barely paying any attention to the fixer. Your budget proposal has been reviewed, but several points of necessary adjustment have also been identified. Yes, ma'am. The fixer shuddered a little, dreaded her next word. While this child was generally of a gentle disposition, she was very strict when it came to documents and numbers. It barely mattered how many times the office employee reviewed, proofread, and meticulously checked every little detail in their reports for typos and miscalculation. They could never stand proudly in front of this perfectionist child as they presented their reports to her. And just as the fixer had read it, the child stopped and loaded up numerous data graphics on her monitor, even before moving past the first few pages of the documents. It feels necessary to note that the proposal of this contract's expedition extended beyond the contract itself, a part of it to expand the office's partnership via business meeting with W.Corp, and the other is to attend Inventors Conference to establish partnership with a new trending workshop. Yes, actually, I did take that part into account when setting our budget, but I made sure to prepare more than enough funds to... It appears that each participant in this expedition is universally assigned 24 hours day budget. However, each participant must be assigned hours specifically tailored towards their roles in this expedition. Please note that we will be meeting with workshop of various valving brackets, some located within the nest, some located in the back streets. Oh. Research the average daily hours for W.Corp's upper class and backstreets inventors. Oh, and you have neglected to include a list of workshops that the office seeks to visit. The fixer froze in place. If it weren't for this prosthetic eyes, he would have been constantly squeezing his eyes shut, fringing with every point of criticism that she has made. Most of the office contracts have been with W.Corp, so your ignorance of W.Corp's idiosyncratization is understandable and expected. What is impressive is Faust's knowledge, which lies far beyond any average metric. The child briefly glanced at the fixer before saying some very unreassuring words of reassurance, but she also pointed to a part of the document before complimenting his work. It was her own way of giving him a carrot after a series of sticks she has just delivered. Using the warp train is an acceptable suggestion. However, set apart a week of our schedule and contract the 7 Association to conduct a one-site survey. Do not forget to verify the information yourself, of course. Just as the fixer was about to respond, she has motioned him to stop. And after a long contemplation, she began. Expend the warp train budget. And ma'am, that budget is more than enough. W.Corp is running a promotion for economic class tickets, so that would normally be a case indeed. However, the child gazed into the air for a moment before closing her eyes to think. She does that often when she's trying to understand something that is not so easily understood. I may be traveling in a first-class seat instead. Wait, seriously? The fixer raised all 4 of his arms, surprised by her request. The child looked away from the documents at the fixer's overreaction. She glared at him, her eyebrows lowered with a look of perplexed disdain. Is there a problem with that? No, it's just unexpected. I thought you wanted to lower the prices. I just thought you would consider a first-class seat a waste of money. Like, what's the use of all that luxury and immense budget if you only get to enjoy it for like 10 seconds? That's horribly inefficient, right? On that, I do agree. However, oh well, it is how it is. I do not require understanding what the Gesellschaft is thinking. Wait, Geschaft? Are you feeling shafted by something, boss? No, it's nothing. In any case, update the proposal as per my request, and place it on this desk by tomorrow morning. If you believe that this is too much workload for you to handle within a day, wake up Mr. Heathcliff from his workday snap, and ask him to assign you in proofreading the documents. Heathcliff, wake up, please! And please tell him to get himself a cup of coffee, and any substance of the likes from the break room. Yes, ma'am. As the fixer dragged the sleepy child to the break room, the child rose from her seat and slowly walked to the window. Past the full glass window is a view of numerous tall buildings, implicated of the northern architecture. On the streets are people, so far and so small, almost like ants in a child's eye, busily walking through their daily lives. The child sipped on her cup of coffee as she reviewed the adjusted plan taken into view, so that she could perfect the plan even further, using the Faust Gesellschaft's knowledge. And the meticulously crafted plan began paying off almost as soon as the contract began in earnest. How are the arms still intact? We hit them with explosives! We have been informed that the W.Corp Backstreet Syndicate often make use of invention of more explosive varieties. Model 400J3, specifically crafted to withstand high level of heat and shock, was indeed a good choice of gear for this contract. The child's prosthetic eyes have already finished mapping out the interior of the dark warehouse. Just as the child identified the trajectory of the bombs and where it flew from, she rushed forward and casually swung 2 great swords attached to her prosthetic arms. And in a slash, the supposed leader's head was separated from his body. The henchmen began charging towards her, and the prosthetic fixer with swords and spears. But it was all a useless struggle. Whenever they managed to break their arms, the fixer would simply replace them with new ones. Let us move a little faster. We have a business meeting scheduled in 2 hours. It wasn't long before every single one of the syndicate's henchmen were on the ground. Oh, the colors! The colors! However, the child did not even spare a moment to celebrate, and instantly walked towards one of the doors of the massive warehouse that the syndicate was guarding. A lamp that returns color. I've never seen one this bright and large. Now the impressive magnitude of the contract sum seems more reasonable. Just as soon as the door swings open, the sepia-toned room immediately begins filling with brilliant variants of colors. That spectacular scene was enough to catch the attention of the other fixers as well, who were finishing off the remaining syndicate's henchmen. This thing is massive. I don't know if we have enough collective horsepower to, Oi, boss lady, do we really have to deliver this ourselves? Of Of course not. The Deviate Association has already been contacted and informed that we would like for them to deliver this item to our client. When the hell did you... never mind. I guess you already planned it ahead. This scuffle wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be. Right? I thought we were struggling because we are all out of our element here at Teacup's backstreets. A grin of an eye, unnoticeable-like art, appeared on her lips as she proudly crosses her arms together. The office fixer response was that of an unimaginable respect. This can all be attributed to Faust's meticulous and flawless plan that eliminated all uncertainties and variables. And your contribution were also of some help, however minuscule they may have been. Wow, she did not forget to impart a few words of encouragement, fashioned in her own unique way of delivering them. Wow! Yeah, you helped a little bit. You helped a little bit. You took care of the small fries. It's appreciated. But Faust is not that impressed. You know, it's kind of refreshing to see such a proud Faust for once. Usually speaking, she's always a little bit refrained of showcasing her knowledge like that, especially in the warp train. She kind of acted like an undercover agent, right? Secretly recording her intel about the warp train himself, writing reports, sharing her knowledge with the other Faust. But this one in particular, she uses her knowledge in her favor. She gets the praise, forms the plan, acts them out, showcases their power. It must be great for her. It must be really great. And now we have our Faust who had completely lost her connection, and she seems really shy about that. Kind of sad as well. I mean, I guess that kind of happens if you're always kind of counting on their help, and suddenly the connection's getting lost in the middle of a train ride. That seems to be one of the worst possible things that could have possibly happened to them. Every Faust recommends not taking the train, but she had to get one. She just had to get on one, and even wake up in the middle of it. It was literally the worst thing that could have possibly happened. And she knew that she had to do it, which makes it even worse. Okay, I would say this is a perfect moment for us to make a little cut. In the next part, I should probably start thinking about our next team. I mean, so far, I've prepared a couple of event-based teams with the Tremor build on my Don, but yeah, that's not really it. I don't know, I don't really get the vibes of that. I also thought about a burn team before, but lately, nah. No, I think I want to think about it a bit more thoroughly. It might become a bit important for us to put a couple of Rapture IDs into this, because I still am a firm believer of the 7 golds, and the fact that we haven't really gotten any Rapture IDs as of late, that maybe in Don's chapter, those Rapture IDs are going to become really, really handy for us, which means I'm totally going to go for the sheep again, because I really love that ID from all of them. But the others... Let me think about that for a second. I'm pretty sure I can find something interesting that might just work. It might just work. Nevertheless, I hope you guys had fun, and see you in the next part. Until then, bye bye!